Okay, here it is. It's 2010. And you've got a man who's got not just a case of cerebral palsy, he's got a very, very serious case. And you could tell by the instant I turned on the video, because his arms were flailing pretty rapidly and in a violent way and in different ways. Now, this guy's got a very, very intelligent brain. He is a very smart guy. He passed and went through law school, and he's got the ability to fight cases for the TLC and to do a lot of good things that a lot of people with disabilities don't get the chance to do, because quite frankly, we live in a country where people take the disabled and just make a joke out of the disabled and do nothing to help them, and to find ways to get them employed and to be productive citizens. But the truth of the matter is that while this guy can not move properly, and while he does in fact have wild movements with his hands and his arms, this guy's very bright. And for this woman to say that he intentionally sexually abused her, knowing that his arms and hands cannot be controlled properly, is disgusting. And I'm going to tell you something. Whoever the judge is in this case should be ashamed of his or herself. It's probably a woman, with all due respect. And they need to teach this judge a little bit about sensitivity when it comes to sexual abuse and dealing with the disabled. Because there is no way in God's earth this man is guilty of sexual abuse of this woman, because there is no way he could possibly make the decision to purposefully sexually abuse her. He has no control over his arms and hands. They move uncontrollably. And she worked with the guy. She's a judge and he's a lawyer. If you see and know that somebody that you work with has a severe case of cerebral palsy, and you're afraid that the violent movements of that person are going to do something to hurt you or to touch you in a place where you don't want to be touched, you stay the hell away. Give some space. Don't go getting up in somebody's space, especially somebody who's got an issue with uncontrollable, unprovoked movements. So what you've got here is a terrible case, as far as I'm concerned, of blatant anti-disability bias here. There is no doubt in my mind. And what you've also got is a stupid moron who is a judge. This woman who is suing him is a certified judge, folks. And she's bringing a frivolous lawsuit against a man who has cerebral palsy and who cannot control his arm and hand movements. And then you've got yet another judge who is allowing this case to move ahead in a court of law. It hasn't started yet. And if there's any justice in this world and in this country, at some point during the course of things, I can't imagine that this is going to get to trial. I just cannot. I can't see. We're not sure when they're going to go to court. It could be a while. This is New York, so you know it's ridiculous how long sometimes it takes for trials to get moving in New York. But the bottom line is, it can't. It just can't. Somebody's got to see something somewhere. Somebody with judicial, with greater judicial powers, has to see this and see what it's like, and to stop. It's just too much, folks. It is just too much. And I got to be honest with you. When I saw this story this morning, I seriously wanted to puke. I just could not believe that not only was the case instituted, but the case was allowed to go as far as it has so far. And the truth of the matter is, it's unacceptable. And for a judge who is supposed to know the law and to know what constitutes crime, to insinuate that this man is actually had actually committed a crime is more of an embarrassment. And I'll tell you what, I'd go so far as to say that she should be taken off the bench, because, quite frankly, I worry about a person like that running a courtroom and taking the side of a quote-unquote victim who was not victimized. You know, they're supposed to be up there sitting on the bench being objective. But this judge here, I mean, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. So, we'll see what comes of this. But I hope you understand why I'm a little bit outraged by this. You know, I hope you understand why I'm extremely outraged by what I'm seeing here. It's just very unfortunate that these types of things happen in the country and allow it to happen. Who's representing the man? It was in the video before. I don't know what the guy's name is. We'll see what happens, though. We will see what happens. And I don't think this is the last that we're going to hear of this. I truly don't. Because, I'll tell you, if this goes to trial and somehow this man is found guilty of any kind of crime, it'll just, I will lose every second of faith that I had in this justice system. And I just pray and hope that it doesn't happen. But something tells me, knowing the way things often go here, it'll find a way to get to court.